What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire, and we have another explosive show for you today. Special guest Kenneth Murray's back on the panel again as we talk about these.
Kenneth to the Murray.
Yes, Kenneth to the Murray, K to the M. That's right. That's right. So Kenneth is back with us once again. He's been a hit on the show. For those of you who are new, please like, comment, subscribe. I am your hostess, Rasheed, and the other hostess on the other side of the panel there in the car, Berick.
What's going on, guys? Nice to meet you today.
Yes, sir.
Nice
yes, sir. Okay, all right. Let's get this. Let's get this going, man. The NBA ratings are at and the NFL ratings are at an all-time low. Especially the NBA, the woke movement has not been very popular amongst a lot of people in this country, and the ratings has been really bad. And we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers on their support of Antoine Rose, and we're going to get into that right there. So actually, Kenneth, take us off, man, because you know, you had a lot to say about this, and
what causes bad TV ratings? As long as revenue from the advertisers remain part of the network TV business, ratings will always matter. The NFL ratings are down, the NBA ratings are down, but so are the rest of the network television. Their ratings are down also. The issue is politics. Once you put politics and sports together, ratings will be affected. Sports and politics make a long, complicated relationship. Sports athletes are out-of-touch millionaires who need to do their job. Recently, Mr. LeBron James stated that the NFL team owners have a slave mentality. Players, whether they're from the NFL or the NBA, will no longer be playing nice. So now is the time for the fans to make up the decision whether or not they're going to watch the shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's just face it, we covered this maybe many moons ago when we talked about the fans are pretty much the reason why it is success within the arenas and there's success within the ratings. Right now, the ratings are down, not just because, you know, they dislike the way things are set up, but it is the politics involved as well. So what do you think they need to do to change the narrative? What do you think they need to do now to bring the ratings back up? What would do that? We don't know. What we do know is they're still going to go play the games because they have to make some kind of money. They have to make up for all the losses, the billions of dollars they've lost. But you're forgetting about the fact that you're putting Black Lives Matter written on the courts. The basketball players are writing certain illustrations and certain people that obviously have passed away due to violence of police. Needless to say, that's not helping. You know, you figure it would help with the players showing some kind of solidarity. It hasn't helped at all. The NFL players are wearing names on the back of their helmets. Of course, we'll get to Pittsburgh's situation later. You know, it's not helping whatsoever. So the politics have really taken over the situation completely. And I once heard people say, well, I guess if, you know, Trump gets reelected or Biden gets elected, you know, some of these things would change depending on who is in the office. I doubt that. I mean, right now, we don't need sports. We want sports. We don't need it, okay, at this point in time. This thing's a lot more important. We do know that if we do have to have sports, we like to have sports the way we used to have it. We can't have that no more because there's too much involved right now with what's happening with Breonna Taylor. That's another thing that's popped up again. There's so many things that have not been solved yet. And that, to me, that bothers me. I don't know how it makes you guys feel, but it bothers me. And I understand why we're at this point now. So how are we going to change this moving forward? That's a good question right now. I wish I had the answer for it. Maybe time. Maybe time will heal all wounds. Maybe it won't. Maybe this thing won't go away. Maybe this thing won't last for another year. You know, it's just kind of hard right now. We look at the future right now. It doesn't look too good. It looks bleak. So, yes, the policies have taken over. I agree with you 100%, Kenneth. But needless to say, I don't think the owners on the NBA level, the owners on the NFL level, They show that they care, but you don't see the evidence of it. So
let me be clear. You talked about the owners, okay? The players are like cattle, and the owners are like ranchers. Ranchers can always get more cattle. Players are often interchangeable, an assembly line of heroes and villains. They are symbols of overachievement or wasted talent, okay? Recently, Ben Shapiro said sports has become too political and can no longer be enjoyed. Dear Ben Shapiro, sports are going to get even more political
as we move forward.
There you go. Sports and politics are one, and they cannot be ignored. To ignore sports and politics is to ignore the importance and the influence that sports has always held. So it is time for the merge, but it's also time to deal with the issue of social injustice.
Yeah, absolutely. It won't go away. It just won't go away.
Oh.
What say you, Rasheed?
I mean, listen, Adam Silver has to be looking at the, as I said in last week's show, Adam Silver has to be looking at the metrics, and he needs to really understand this is actually, and the players need to really understand this. It's not just Adam Silver, like Kenneth alluded to, that those TV ratings, that money that comes in from the television, is actually affected by the player salaries in a sense, though. So they have to understand that, yeah, it seems like they're being used for political pawns in a sense, though. There's a lot of pseudo intellectuals here, and from the NFL players and the NBA players, and it's just not vibing with a lot of the customers in a sense, who actually purchase the jerseys, who actually watch the games. It's not resonating with people right now, man. And businesses that don't actually listen to their customers are actually doomed to fail. So you got a high majority of people. Let's say you own you manufacture whatever, some clothes, and your customers are saying, "Hey, I don't like this," and you still continue to put this stuff out anyway, then you know your business is going to implode.
Yeah. Let me ask this question. There is simply no getting politics out of sports, okay? Games are not just games anymore. But here's the question. What exactly is the duty of the athlete's position in a political situation?
Well, like I said, me personally, I don't mind them actually speaking out. I don't care. It doesn't really faze me, not one bit. But you have to get it right. I mean, what they're doing is actually just repeating CNN rhetoric and MSNBC rhetoric. And if you look at their ratings, Kenneth, they're not really popular in this country at all, because they just spew a lot of lies. And people see right through it. Well, just like I just tore through our little chat earlier, I tore through the Revelator stuff. I mean, he's just getting his stuff from comedy shows. You know, there's no thought that actually goes into this stuff. No analyzation, nothing.
Well, look, in the 1960s, when the young man threw his fist in the air, CNN was not around. Okay, the talking points didn't come from CNN. The talking points came from the brothers and sisters that were in the street. So every time you talk about CNN talking points, don't you think that black people can think besides CNN? Don't you think?
Well, they could think. I mean, they could think. They're just not thinking. That's the problem. They just, and it's like most people, they just come at me with CNN talking points and MSNBC talking points, or.
I guess if no one's in the know, they're using MSNBC and CNN as reference points to at least get themselves a gist of what they think's going on. That's pretty much why you would resort to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And like I said, even with the Black Lives Matter protests, I was telling Kenneth before you got on this, Berick, that you know they're being selective. There's a lot more things affecting black people than just police shootings. You know, as we see, and we're going to touch into the Antoine Rose situation. A lot of this is our behavior in a sense, though. You know, a lot of it is that behavior.
Let me be very, very clear. The Black Lives Matter movement is a Trojan horse. They are communists. Black people are capitalists. We like money and things. Okay?
I think a lot of people like that. That's why they come over here, man. A lot of people want a better life. They want high quality of life. That's why people migrated to this country for about over 100 years.
But the deception of the Black Lives Matter movement is at the heart of everything. I am black. I know my life matters. But when you take Black Lives Matter and you wrap it around a Trojan horse of communism, and you make black people think that you are for them and you really are not, because you're pushing a personal agenda, that is wrong. And that is why I do not agree with the Black Lives Matter movement. Yes, I'm black, I matter, but I'm not going along with that movement. That movement is nonsense.
And listen, a lot of people actually resonate with you, Kenneth. A lot of people actually resonate with you. And me personally, I do care about Black lives. I really do.
But you should.
But it can't. We gotta look at the black on black murders, man. We gotta look at that stuff. We have to look at the abortion rates. It was like, I think, 10 million.
Why not look at the system of white supremacy that allows guns to come into our community? Black people.
But yeah, nobody's making black people pull them triggers, man. You know, you acting like there's a spell.
There is a system in place that allows black people to be foolishly enough to think that doing those wrong things will get them ahead. Yeah, okay? Well. Okay?
Kenneth, where do you think I'm from, bro? You actually think I'm from some white suburbs? I grew up in one of the worst areas in the country, man. I'm from the hood.
From the way that you speak, I tend to don't know where you come from. Okay? From the way that you speak, I don't know where you come from. You're a black guy, you're a Trump supporter, you're a conservative.
I'm a partial Trump. I don't agree with everything that Trump actually does, though.
It's like being pregnant. Either you are or you're not.
No, I'm a pragmatist. I'm not going with that. See, Ken, you would go to a damn jury trial and you put a damn innocent person in jail, man, with the emotional thinking, man. You can't do that, man. You have to be pragmatic.
We're living in an emotional world, guys. Come on. We're living in an emotional world right now. What are we gonna do about that? You know? I mean, we gotta calm it down. We gotta think more chess than checkers right now.
Exactly. There you go, man. There you go. Berick said it, man. And that's it. I mean, listen, if Trump, listen, what I got from Trump was no wars for 4 years. And damn cheap gas prices, the cheapest they've been in since like the early 2000s.
Well, it can't be just that either, Rasheed.
No, I'm just saying. It's good. We haven't wasted a lot of endless monies on wars, but we wasted a lot of monies on other things like bailouts and stuff like that these bailout packages. But I mean, as far as us actually going in and being the dictators of the world, I mean, that hasn't happened with Trump. But I got a lot of other issues. I got a lot of other issues with Trump, though.
That's what I got from Trump. If this man wins again, white people will be more emboldened than they are now to go up against non-white people. This is the reason why.
Oh Lord, Kenneth, come on, man.
We must prepare ourselves for what is to come. We can't play games. This is not a kumbaya moment. This is a moment where we have to make sure that we are prepared at any time to go to war. That's what this is.
You know, Kenneth Berick, man. Kenneth puts up psychological barriers like the Phoenix, you know, in X-Men, man. It's hard to break through those.
Hard to break them or hard to reach them?
It's hard to break through, man, because he sees it. He sees it. We talked about it. And he says, okay, Rasheed, I understand now. All right, it's elite white people, the 1%ers attacking other white people, but then he goes back to this, saying that white people are the problem. He's not specific or anything like that. Because, hey, listen, you got a lot of
the elite white people set the barrier, and the normal white people, if you can want to call them that, they follow the elite white people. Trust me, white people do things as they follow other white people.
All right, let's get back. Let's get back to the ratings. And what? So Berick, what do you actually think? You think that this is really bad for the NBA and the NFL. The woke
I wouldn't
movement.
say it's really bad because we still have. Listen, you're not going to put these games on TV if you didn't think you were going to have some type of viewership. Let's just be honest right now. Let's just make sure we're clear about that. But at the end of the day, it's not where they're accustomed to having. They're not. I mean, you look at the average home, it's what 16.4% of each particular state of viewership or something of that nature, if I'm not mistaken, and it's way below that now. So, not to mention, the fans will come out and say, well, we don't like the fact that it's being played in a bubble. Oh yeah, by the way, Major League Baseball, they're going to play their playoffs in a bubble. They have 2 different sites they're going to play. They're not going to play at each particular stadium site. They're going to go to 2 sites, which is probably going to be in warmer climate. My guess would be Florida or California. So everyone is copying off everyone else. The WNBA is doing it. They're going to be playing in a bubble. This seems to be the answer right now. Is that going to be the answer next year? Most fans hope not. I mean, that is part of why the ratings are down. The other part of it is the political concept that we spoke about previously. So you combine the two. You combine what we're not accustomed to seeing versus what we know is dominating the headlines, which is racial injustice. Then, yeah, you're going to have a problem with the ratings. So we have to find a common goal, a common gap in between those two logics. How can we get the fans back to watching sports and compress somewhat what's going on around the world? How does that happen? It's going to have to happen from a multitude of different positions, starting from, yes, the White House, especially within the urban neighborhoods, the African-American neighborhoods. So we have to look at all these particular options and see where we go. But it's going to be a long way to go, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be maybe a year. Don't be surprised another 2 years before we finally see things the way it used to be.
All right. Let's take a pause.